when the center appears in a form that prevents recognition. The Misread Core Model describes what happens when something central enters perception in a form that prevents it from being recognized for what it is. The center is not absent. It is present, but under the wrong code. It can be seen, approached, even handled, while its operative role remains unread. This is not simply a mistake in interpretation. It is a structural condition in which appearance allows contact while suspending recognition. Research context. Not every center is recognized as a center. Some appear in forms that feel ordinary, harmless, decorative, familiar, or exchangeable. Their visibility does not clarify their function, it conceals it. In such cases, recognition does not fail because nothing was seen. It fails because what was seen did not match what was operating. The problem is not absence, it is misread presence. Core concept. A misread core is a structurally central element that appears in a form that prevents correct recognition at first contact. It is not hidden in a strict sense. It is visible, but visible through the wrong frame. A misread core may appear as an object rather than a source, an ornament rather than a center, a fragment rather than a field, a curiosity rather than an operative force, a surface rather than a carrier of consequence. The center therefore remains present, but displaced into a form that is recognizable in the wrong way. Structural mechanism. The model begins when the core element enters the field before its role is understood. Its surface permits approach, its form suppresses caution, its familiarity reduces the likelihood of structural questioning. What follows is crucial. Contact happens first, recognition comes later. By the time the element is properly named, effects may already be accumulating around it. This is why the model does not focus only on what is seen. It focuses on what becomes possible when contact precedes recognition. Key observations. Several patterns recur in this condition. Recognition often fails not because the center is hidden, but because it appears in the wrong format. The more surface compatible an element appears, the less likely its operative role is questioned. Consequences often begin before proper naming arrives. Systems tend to notice the center only after peripheral effects start accumulating. Once the center has entered under false recognizability, correction becomes reactive rather than preventive. A misread core destabilizes interpretation at its source. The issue is not that the system lacks a center. The issue is that the center is first received as something else. Structural consequence. Misread core reframes interpretive failure. The problem is not always oversight. Sometimes it is the success of appearance. A system may be in direct contact with what matters most and still fail to recognize it as central, not because the center was hidden, but because its form made another reading easier. The center remains present. What fails is the code under which it first becomes visible. Naming declaration. The Misread Core Model originates within the meta-writing Ecology as a structural model describing what happens when a central element enters perception through a form that conceals its operative nature. It is not derived from semiotics, object theory, hazard theory, phenomenology, or communication breakdown analysis. Its logic arises from ecological analysis of systems in which appearance and operative reality no longer coincide, and where first contact is governed by recognizability rather than structural truth. In this model, misreading does not refer to interpretive error alone. It refers to a condition in which the center of a system appears in a surface-compatible form that permits contact while preventing correct recognition. The model does not ask whether the observer lacked intelligence or care. It asks how form itself can suspend recognition long enough for structural consequences to begin.